Welcome to Unfair World. On this channel, I will show you the dark side of the world and the reality behind closed doors with theories that are very likely to be true. If you have a very ordinary life, you can join me on this journey by following me and liking the videos. Enjoy watching.
A woman with the name Saqout lost her husband and one of her children while she was pregnant. After this, she experienced psychological problems and became someone who did not want a baby in her womb. However, on April 28, 1937, the child was born. His mother named this child Saddam, meaning the one who confronts. Saddam Hussein was born into a sorrowful and stressful home environment. However, his mother later sent to him to live with his uncle. His uncle Khairullah Talfa was an extremely nationalist officer. He would tell Saddam about Iraq, its national heroes, and say, "You will become one too." However, after a while, Khairullah was imprisoned due to certain activities. Saddam's returned home, but during this time, his mother married her former husband's brother. Saddam's stepfather treated him harshly. This cruelty caused a series of physical and psychological damage to him. When Saddam turned 10, his uncle gave him a gun. At this age, he began to lose control and even started threatening his teachers at school. Saddam was now 19 years old. His uncle wanted him to become an officer. However, after failing the military exams, Saddam turned to politics. He spent years observing both his country and the world. Eventually, he joined the Ba'ath Party and stood out with his boldness. At that time, the party was planning an assassination attempt against Iraq's military dictator, al-Karim Qasim. Saddam was part of this assassination team. The attackers opened fire on the general's car, but he survived. The attackers managed to escape. At the age of 22, Saddam became one of the most wanted men in the country. He disguised himself and fled Iraq, going to Egypt where he studied law. Soon after, a Ba'ath-supported coup took place in Iraq and Qasim was overthrown. Saddam returned to Iraq, but another coup soon removed the Ba'ath Party from power. Saddam was arrested and sentenced to 2 years in prison, but he escaped. His biggest goal was to bring the Ba'ath Party back to power. He became one of the most powerful figures in the party. The Ba'ath Party seized power again, through another coup, but Saddam was the real power behind the scenes. He held a dominant and oppressive position in the regime. He spread fear among people and opponents. He executed 13 people he accused of being spies in the middle of a city. At that time, Iraq controlled 15% of the world's oil. The revenue was used for cities, villages, and public development. However, unrest increased and opposition groups were suppressed harshly. In 1979, Ahmed Hassan al-Bakr resigned due to health issues. Saddam took full control and held a major meeting. He claimed there were conspirators in the room and began calling out names. Those names were taken away by soldiers. Saddam was building a regime of fear. He wanted more power and turned to oil dominance. After the Iranian Revolution, he declared war on Iran in 1980. He expected an easy victory but was wrong. The war turned to a long struggle. Saddam pursued nuclear weapons. Israel launched an airstrike and destroyed Iraq's nuclear facilities. This weakened Saddam's power. The Iran-Iraq war ended in 1988. Both sides suffered heavy losses. Saddam later carried out chemical attacks on Kurdish villages. Thousands of civilians died. Iraq was under severe oppression. Punishment became increasingly brutal. The economy began to collapse after the war. Saddam turned his attention to Kuwait. In 1990, Iraq invaded Kuwait and took control in 6 hours. The world reacted strongly. The United Nations and the United States commanded Iraq. They demanded withdrawal, but Saddam refused. Military action was approved. Coalition forces began bombing Baghdad. Advanced military technology overwhelmed Saddam's forces. A ground operation followed and Kuwait was liberated. Saddam entered a paranoid phase. He constantly changed location and used body doubles. Opposition inside Iraq grew stronger. Saddam became more aggressive. Some people still supported him fanatically. The United States intensified efforts to capture him. Baghdad fell on April 9. Saddam's regime collapsed. A 25 million reward was announced for his capture. His sons were also targeted. They were killed in a US operation. Iraq descended into a chaos. One of Saddam's guards revealed his hiding place. He was found hiding in a small underground space. He was arrested and put on trial. He was sentenced to death for crimes against humanity. On December 30, 2006, Saddam Hussein was executed. His execution intensified sectarian conflict in Iraq.